All right, everyone, it's Friday, and that must be time for the Q&A with Alan and Marshall show. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And who's this guy?
I don't know. Introduce yourself, stranger.
I'm Mark Sudonik with Graphic Solutions Group, GSG. Good morning, everyone.
Our sponsor.
And so welcome to our show. Happy Friday. Thanks for watching. As usual, we would love it if you would chime in that you're watching. So take a half a second and type in some witty phrase or comment. and, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. And also, if you could do us a tremendous favor, and please share that you're watching the show. We would love that your industry friends join in on our fascinating discussion today. And we're going to be talking about learning today. That's kind of our theme. And it's going to be lots of fun, which is why Mark's here. So Mark is a teacher just like Alan and I are. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to get into today. So please, comment, say hello, all that kind of stuff. And then also, this is a show that's based on engagement. So we want your comments. We want your questions. We want you to stump the panel. Do you got something that you feel that is impossible? Please share it so we can help you out. That's the whole goal of the show, right?
It's a topic that might not be too hard to stump us all. I'm afraid to know what. I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think anybody has a comment that's going to stump us. I think we can handle it between the three of us. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
All depends if Peter Walsh gets on.
Yeah. I'm going to thank you for coming on. Marshall and I were talking last night about the show, and I mentioned something that we will talk about later. And he goes, we got to get Mark Soldonic on. So I texted Mark or called him like at, 6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock my time. And, last minute he goes, sure. He looks at his calendar. Yeah, I'm in.
Well, I'm snowed in Dallas, Texas today. So I have nowhere else to be.
Yeah, I got the same problem here in Arizona. We got so much sunshine, I can't leave the house.
I know. Yeah. How many feet?
I have like 9 inches of snow here, and it's 5 degrees. And Marshall's sunned in.
Yeah, it's sunned in. I'm wearing shorts. So hey, let's say hey to some folks. So Josh is here. Good morning.
Hey,
morning, fellas. Hey, by the way, Josh, I really like the video your wife posted with your son running out into the snow in his underwear. And with the I'm a Man challenge. I didn't quite see your participation in that challenge. Just wondering if you were going to jump in on that.
I love that he ran out there, jumped in the snow, and ran real quickly back in.
And Cindy's here. Good morning, Cindy. How you doing? Charles is here from New Mexico. Hey, buddy. Mike's here. Happy Friday from Southern California. Peter's here as always. Thank you for watching from Michigan. William's here. Hey, y'all. Keith is here. Good morning. We're watching while we work and whistling from Kyle, Texas. And Peter says, good morning. When is Alan's podcast starting? Of course. Hey, it's the stump the panel question. There's the stumper right there.
2023.
2033.
I'm getting a feeling he doesn't want to do it. I don't know.
I don't. I think I said that on the show too.
Yeah, well, I think it's something, we'll continue to dig and get under your skin, just for the hilarity of it.
And I'm going to start a podcast called the Angry Podcast.
You should call it the Angry. I think a podcast about people bitching would be a very popular show, right?
Would that be
on and complain?
Would that be industry specific?
It could be industry specific, right?
Yeah. No, it's
our industry, right? So
that's exactly it. Yeah.
What is the stuff that bugs you the most? Right?
We're going to talk about some of that today, though, too.
So, Alan, what bugs you the most?
People asking me about a podcast I'm not doing. Screen opener.
Screen opener. There's a good
I
one.
wasn't going to bring that up.
Screen opener. Actually, no. You know what bugs me the most? It's hard in our job. We all have to be around people. Mark, you and I have talked because we're kind of the same way, and we've learned in our older years to keep it under control. Stupid people. I don't do well with stupidity. I don't. It's awful.
This would be a really great industry if it weren't for those customers.
Well, it's in life. Life would be easy if it wasn't for people. So,
yeah,
right. Yeah,
lonely.
And here's, I'm not talking, I don't know. I'm talking about, I don't know. I keep asking the question, and I won't change, and I won't do anything. Okay, good. You're your own worst enemy. Next.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, and I'm like that in life with people too. Yeah, I just don't do well with stupid. So.
Well, as one of my favorite comedians, Ron White, says, you can't fix stupid.
You can't fix it. And I don't like it in myself when it happens, when friends of mine going, you're just being an idiot. And I go, really? Am I? Yeah. And, so I want to fix it. So, yeah, stupid people.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What bugs you the most, Mark?
I have a list right here. If if we're going to be specific to our industry,
oh yeah,
all the shops I go into, what bothers me the most is a dirty shop, no lids on buckets. The press looks like a chia pet. There's more stuff on the top of the dryer than it is on a grocery store shelf.
Yep.
It really annoys me. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, clean shop's not a busy shop, and that's full. That's crap. Cool. I mean, I go into some shops that are like, emergency room, operating room clean, and they're as busy as you can. And they're so much more efficient in a clean shop than you are in a dirty shop.
Right. I would agree with that. And I run clean shops. That's one of my pet peeves is, how can you work effectively if you have to wash your hands when you touch the ink bucket? Right.
Or when you visit a shop and you get back in your car, whether it's your car or rental car, and you get to your destination and you got fluorescent pink ink on the seat and you don't know where you got that on you because you were nowhere near it, but you happened to pick it up.
Hold on.
It's funny. Green ink always leaps off of whatever and onto me. I don't know why. It's always green.
So here's a stain on the bottom of the briefcase or backpack. I was in a shop in Pittsburgh. I'm not going to say who because you know who they are, Mark, because Mark's from Pittsburgh. And I set it down, and it took me 3 days to figure out where it was at. Next thing I know, I reach under the steering wheel, and there's ink on my hands. There's ink everywhere. And I had to figure it out, and it was like multicolored, so it was on a table. And it was on my backpack, and somehow it got all over on the car in my hotel room. It was going nuts.
I'll tell you another one, just because this one is just common. Eating when you're on press. I visited a shop. Wait, and
Doritos.
No, the guy had a bag of Cheetos taped with PMI tape to the like number 10.
And just munching while he's working.
Well, we're walking through, and all these black shirts are coming down the dryer with orange on them.
Yeah. Oh gosh!
And the girl's using tape and just pulling it off, and he's just got a bag of Cheetos, and he's just eating, pulling shirts off, and I'm like,
Oh my God!
And that little shop hack was sponsored by PMI.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man!
It's sponsored by Cheetos.
Exactly. So,
right.
Actually, your assistant's watching.
That's great. What?
Your assistant is watching.
Hey, Lyra, what's up? Live from the Philippines, right there.
Lyra is Marshall's virtual assistant. So
yeah,
and it's actually midnight over there. It's late.
Yeah, she likes to work late.
Yeah,
up eating Cheetos.
Yeah. So Sydney says, hey, I snack while I sew.
Yeah, but not Cheetos. That's everywhere.
How about chocolate? Chocolate's really good. Nothing could go wrong with chocolate.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so let's roll the GSG commercial, and then we'll get into some topics.
All right.
Here we go. As soon as I find the thing. Awesome. We need an updated one, Mark, that's got some talkover on it, voiceover.
I'll run that past Daniel.
Yeah.
You know, he's a one-man show in a 9-person position.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll get it tomorrow? Is that what you're saying?
Let me ask you, probably about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So Cindy says, yummy candy for me. Brian says, good morning. And then Kim, who just moved here to Arizona, says, good morning. And look, she's got a little sunshine.
I would take the sunshine emoji here. I'd take any warm emoji right now.
Yeah, right. It's going to heat you up, right?
So people just posted something.
Let's get into some topics here. What'd you say?
Look,
here you go.
Posted something.
I must admit I'm guilty of sometimes dirty shop or taking time to deep clean. What should I use to get the automatic press to sparkle? I've seen a few used machines for sale. How do they get that clean?
Use a Solve 842.
Yeah, or just press wash. And then also, if you wipe it down with WD-40, like a lot of the stuff won't stick to it.
Yep.
Also, too, to keep it that way, Michael, don't use aerosol spray adhesives. Use a water palette adhesive.
Peter's here. Good morning from M&R Roselle. What's press wash?
Easy lacquer
I
thinner.
think they're pulling our leg here. Okay.
Don't you dare say lacquer thinner.
Yeah, it's lacquer thinner. It's hey, acetone. Just use what you want.
Yeah.
Eileen.
Eileen.
Cyclohexanone.
All right.
What did I say? Not PW4, Greg Kitzel. Easy Solve 842.
Yeah.
Greg just put MEK.
Oh, geez.
So some of you guys don't know, methyl ketone is like, I think by saying that I just lost 10 years off my life.
All right. So let's get into our first topic here, how to learn. And I think this is really important because, and this is going to be our theme today, really, is about learning and setting yourself up for learning. And one of the things that I want to kind of discuss is the sign, to me, the sign of an intelligent person is they have an opinion on something, they learn a new fact, and then they can change their mind on it. Right. And it's because they've learned something, there was new information, and now we can change and adapt and do things better. And especially in this industry, because, you know, there's some old dogs, right? Yeah. That we've like, well, what's the phrase, Mark?
What?
We've always done it this way. Right?
Yeah.
We've always done it this way. You want to see my head explode? Just say that, right? And we've always done it this way, so we can't think of about any new possibility. There's no new consumable. There's no new technology. There's no new technique that we can learn. We're just trapped into 1982, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Using MEK and acetone.
Well, in the way the industry is now and how it's changing, if you don't adapt and learn some of the new processes and things that are out there, it's hard to catch back up. You know, I see it. You know.
Well, what was real interesting to me was the Long Beach show. I talked to like a gazillion people, and one of the things I asked them was, "Hey, why are you here? What's going on?" And a huge chunk of those people were telling me that this was their first trade show. They had just started their company last year, and now they want to learn more about the industry. That's why they were there. That's what they were looking for.
Right.
They were looking for things. And what was really impressive to me is quite a number of them were not doing their own production. And they were just, and so it's kind of like we don't have to do it the old way that everybody's done it. And, so a lot of people were just going to be doing transfers. A lot of people were just doing DTG, right? A lot of people are just going to be outsourcing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we fall into this trap in this industry where we label ourselves a certain way. We're a screen printer, so all problems have to look like screen printing, all the answers, right? Instead of thinking, well, maybe there's a different way of doing something, right? What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, when you go into a shop that does screen printing, embroidery, digital, vehicle wraps, vinyl, and they run, like you said, they run it all like it's a screen print shop. And you really, you can't wear every hat.
Right.
It may be where you have, your embroidery department, you have someone that runs that department. You trust that person. They understand ordering. They know their pricing. They know their production. And, don't try to run everything the same. It's different if you want to call them divisions or segments, even though it's under the same umbrella. And I know Alan has been in some shops I've been in where one person is running every department, and they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, and you're putting out fires all day. And I wouldn't want to do that.
No,
I'd give it to somebody that, you can put your faith in, and they're also going to educate you. Then you do learn more about it. It's easy to see things at the show, but to actually run it in the real world is, it's two different things.
I agree. I think, it's one thing to be the operation manager where you're overseeing the whole apparel segment.
Right.
You have each little profit center. You pretty much have to have an expert in each of those.
You have to.
There are some things that could overlap. You still want SOPs. You still want to make sure your steps are there and you're profitable in each. But that's going to look different, whether you're doing a vehicle wrap, whether you're doing embroidery, right, or you're doing an HTV, whatever. It is going to be different, and technology changes in all of them. And you have to keep up with it. What are the new products? What can you do better? And I think a lot of it on how to learn is most people, they say they're working on their business, but they're working in it.
Correct.
And they're working in it and not going, okay, I'm doing well. What's coming down the future? What's coming down the pike? What should I be doing? Wow, I didn't know that. Mark, I heard on one of the GSG videos, I listened to Liz Beavers talk about different embroidery backings. I know
only one. Just one.
Just one, and it's tissue paper. Yeah. They just use one for everything, but I don't know embroidery. But I was listening to the reasons, and I'm just going, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
For better quality, for speed, for what it is. Why use something? I have, even in our product lines, someone goes, could I use this in replace of this? You could, but why would you? Because that product you want to use is 5 times as expensive. Use the right product for the right job.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of resources out there. And if you look at Marshall, for example, what Marshall does, that's someone to talk to that can tell you those directions to go. Right. Granted, from your background and where you came from, you've experienced it. But
right,
there's a lot out there, like, if you're doing heat transfer material and you have Caesar out there and you have Stalls out there, and those people, granted, they're selling the products and equipment and so forth, but they also really know the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a wealth of knowledge that's there.
Right.
I used to tell, when I was working for dealerships, I used to tell people, go to shows, look at stuff, but remember, trade shows are not real. They're fake. And what I mean by that is that we all know, we've worked for companies. Mark, GSG does it. We make sure that equipment's working, the right screens. You're never going to see crappy things there at trade shows.
Oh, no.
Set up all the way. So when the doors open, they're right there. It's not production settings. So you can see it, you can get a taste of it, you can check it out, but you need to know real world data and real world information.
Right.
Well, and especially, and I'm just going to say, like a screen printing press, whoever's in automatic, doesn't matter who you buy. It's the same as a car dealership. A car salesman is going to show you the features that it has. He's not going to teach you how to drive.
Yep.
No, it's the same thing. They're not going to teach you how to print. They're going to teach you what the machine does.
Right.
Absolutely.
Some good comments here. So John's here says buried under a ton of snow, but hello.
Richmond, Indiana.
And he worked with MEK breaking screens down for a few years, and he can feel the years cut from his life.
Yeah, John used to work for a company called Body, and which is in the whole membrane switch electronic printing. So yeah, they used a lot of it then.
So have you heard of print grip for pallets?
I haven't. It sounds like a double-sided tape.
Yeah, it's more like a pad that goes on, and it's reusable.
Okay.
You can wipe it down. It comes in like different sizes for what your pallets are.
You guys sell it?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah. I don't really know if there's distribution or if it's solely through them.
Okay.
And I honestly have not seen it in any places that I've visited yet. And whether it pops up at a trade show or something to see, but it's an interesting idea. It really is. But okay. I haven't seen it except online.
So if anybody's used it or tried it out, please comment and let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Share the link where you got it from also.
Yeah, Peter, have you tried it? Are you using it? What are your thoughts on it?
Mm-hmm. Kim says there have been some amazing education and learning possibilities since the pandemic. And I think a lot of people are hunkered down with nothing to do. And so let's create some videos. So I totally agree with that, Kim. Good thinking there. And Brian says, I didn't come here to be called like this, Alan. I'm feeling personally attacked about working in, not on the business.
Well, I wasn't specifically, Brian, talking to you, but since nobody has beat the drum on my podcast more than you, I'm okay with this comment. No, it's people that won't know, Brian and I are friends. And Brian, I also know you just don't work in your business; you work on it a lot too. So, thank you.
I think Brian is snowed in today, actually.
A lot of the Midwest is.
Mm-hmm. So John says, leaving a bigger shop and starting my own small shop. I originally started with offering way too many things just to get your name out there. Since we've opened our doors and cut out 99% of everything but printing, which pays the bills, I don't see that we've lost any customers that were worth any real money. So like, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. And one of the things I'm constantly talking about is creating a business plan that's going to create the bullseye for your business about the direction of the customers that you want to deal with, that you serve the best, that will line up around the corner to happily hand you money, right? Who are those people? And then what do they buy? When do they buy? How much do they buy? All that, what problem are you solving? And if you have that nailed in your business plan, it's so much easier to create a marketing. It's so much easier to create a sales strategy and all that stuff, instead of just trying to serve everybody. Like, if they'll fog a mirror, we'll do business with them, right? That's such a ridiculous statement. But it's like, you need to really hone in on that. And the lessons like that, where you tried to do everything and now you're scaling it back, right? So a great thing to do is to pick a couple channels that you feel that really serve whatever you're doing best, and then you can go after those channels once you know who your customers are and stuff. So love that comment, John. Peter says it's on order, let you know.
Cool.
And then Richard says that you have a podcast, right? So
I do, but I blocked.
There's a theme. There's a theme here.
I blocked up Richard and Brian Buffka from watching it. So
Yeah.
I do have one.
So Alan's new podcast is called 2 Second Lean with Alan and Richard.
Yeah.
2 second lean.
Right.
Okay.
2 seconds long. 2 seconds long too.
So Brian says a half-inch ice and 8 inches of snow. I closed the shop since Wednesday. T-shirts and banners are not that important.
Yeah,
Sacrilege.
When Mark and I were talking last night, I told him, he goes, "You traveling?" I said, "No." I said, "I don't want my tombstone to read gave his life for screen printing chemical."
Yeah, right.
That's not true if anybody from Easy Way's listening. No.
Yeah.
Is your phone ringing yet?
Yeah, no, it's off.
He's got it on silent.
Alex is calling me right now going, "Get on the road." No. You have 4-wheel drive.
Hey, when is this big storm going to be over? Do we know? Like next week or something? Or
It's over. In Michigan it is.
yeah. Okay, cool.
It's done here.
The cleanup, and we're fine.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So let's finish up this topic about how to learn. So I think, just really being open to the opportunity to learn something new, just having that mindset is so important. And everybody that's commenting on here is either the owner or a leader of a business. So what you need more than anything is that this is how your staff thinks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is about creating that culture in your business where people really are excited about learning something new. Right. You're talking about it a lot. And I know some shops, right, they have an actual library with business books and videos and stuff that you can check out. You can do things. One of the advantages, of course, I'm going to talk about Shirt Led Tribe, is that we have a whole bunch of videos, and membership in Tribe is open for everybody that works at your shop, not just you, the owner. And so everybody can participate and ask questions and watch the videos and do all the stuff. Right. So, they have to want to do that. And that really kind of triggers, that's learning culture thing where you're celebrating new information and trying new things and all that stuff. Right. So.
And I know a lot of people, as a member of Shirt that is their training for their shops.
Yeah.
So for the people too. So.
Keith says, we're learning today and how to use the new Cobra Flex. Hey, so happy you're getting it up and running. I guess the tech finally showed up, right? Is that's the statement there, right?
Yep.
I know you were having some challenges with that.
Well, I'm sure the weather didn't help with that either.
Yeah, right. All right. Hey, let's get to the new topic, which is
how to learn. You know how people how people learn? They have to want to learn too.
Yeah, right.
So
have to want to. Favorite books. Alan, what's your favorite book?
5 Dysfunctions of a Team is the business one.
Yeah, who wrote that and why is that your favorite?
Gosh, you asked me too long and I wrote I want to say Jim Cymbala, but that's not it. That's a different book. Lincecum. Tim Lincecum is what it is. 5 Dysfunctions of a Team is, everybody wants to work in a team, but you might be doing well in business, but there is a thing where we just all get along. Well, that's not a good team. A lot of people now in the society we're in, we want no conflict. Well, a good team is not about no conflict. It's about constructive conflict.
Yep.
There will be conflict. You're allowed to do that. Marshall and I on this podcast, we have different ideas and stuff like that.
What? We have different ideas.
Marshall just does what I say. It's easy. No. And so there's not a one-man show. It is moving in a direction. Somebody has to be a leader. Somebody has to be Captain No, on there. But it is about that. You can't be a Lone Ranger. You have to be pulling your weight. You have to be doing stuff. You have to on there. And it was great. When I learned that it's not about no conflict, it's about good conflict.
Yeah.
And
great.
that is a
That's
great
great.
book. Five Dysfunctional Team. It's not new. I read it in the 90s, late 90s, and it's an incredible book still.
Mm-hmm.
I know Richard's read it before. He said, I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite business book.
Cool. Mark, what about you? What's yours?
The Tay of Piglet.
The Tay of Piglet. Yeah. And what is that one about?
It's Winnie the Pooh. You've never read that?
Oh, okay. Mine is, see, my regular book, there's a book called Ball 4. It was a baseball book written by Jim Button, who played for New York in the 60s. And it was pretty controversial.
You know, when I sit down, I still read, Dale Carnegie, even though that's almost 100 years ago that was written.
Right.
Yeah.
How to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. And, his claim to fame, he was a simple country boy. But, a lot of things correlate. It doesn't have to be like, say, sometimes an industry specific or business specific, because when it comes down to it, like your business becomes kind of your life. It really does. No one can say they haven't spent 16 hours in the shop or their weekends.
Right.
So it's that work-life balance, but when work is kind of your life, how do you get through it? And then a lot of cookbooks. I read a tremendous amount of cookbooks. So.
We can tell from your awesome culinary posts that you put out all the time.
I know Richard Greaves and I have talked before, and he's real big on reading cooking books because of how it applies to the screen print shop too.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
There's no difference between a kitchen at TGI Fridays or a screen print shop.
Yep.
And the weird analogy is if you look at a kitchen in a restaurant, it's organized. Everything you need is at a hand's reach away. You start with a clean plate and or screen. You put the stuff on the plate. It goes out into production or into, to
down the line.
Then it comes back, it gets cleaned, it gets put back into circulation. And actually some of the best production managers I've ever worked with were kitchen managers.
Yeah. Plus happy hour starts at 5.
It depends. It depends. If it's New Orleans, it could be 6:15.
Yeah.
AM.
Right. So we all know what mine is. It's right here. Stream ownership.
Yep.
Has the best quote ever for this industry, which is it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. So if you're having challenges in your shop and you're always talking about, being late or cell phones on the floor or cleaning the ink buckets or whatever you're talking about all the time, it's the fact that you tolerate that problem is the reason why you keep having it. Right.
Yep.
And so big fan of this book. And so we got some comments here. So Frank, hey, Frank. Frank says, Mike McAllowitz, Profit First, of course, has a new book called Get Different. I've got it sitting right over here. I'm not a big book reader, but Audible is great to be smart like you guys. Yeah, you don't have to read the book. You can listen to it, right? I like reading and underlining and putting post-it notes, and that's just my thing, right? But as long as you're getting the information, that's the whole point, is what are you purposely putting in your head, right? And so that's good. So thanks, Frank. And then Ghosta says, hey, by the way, The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. Oh, a new one.
Yeah, I just wrote
have you guys read that? I haven't heard of that book.
I haven't read. So,
Mark, you read it?
I saw him post it up.
No, I have heard of it, and this public speaking group I'm in, it's one of their top 5 of last month. Yeah.
Well, there you go. We'll have to look that up. Thank you for sharing. Greg says Green Eggs and Ham.
It is a classic.
It is a classic.
Get away from the classics.
Right. It sounds like a production loop. Yes, he's talking about the kitchen.
I thought he was talking about Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
John has a great answer there.
I started in a kitchen. I love the rush, the chemistry of creating dishes, the art of plating, and the hell of dishes. A lot of that came with me to my print shop. Every order is a ticket hung up to run and get that 5-star review. Awesome.
Great.
What a great comment.
Well, John.
What a great comment. And then Mike shared E-Myth by Michael Gerber is a classic. Also in that book, he has a whole section in there about running your business like McDonald's.
Yep.
You know, if you remember that, where you know, every McDonald's you ever go to is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's because they have standardized everything, right? And so the thinking here is building your business so you have standard SOPs that everybody can follow. And that's how that franchise runs, right? So think about how if your business, your shop was the first franchise, right? Think about it from that perspective. What standards would you build so if you built one 1,000 miles away, it would run the same way?
Yeah. No, it's a great example of that. Our industry is fast signs.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And if you ever go to a fast signs trade show, it's just fast signs. It's probably what a McDonald's trade show would look like.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Bufka, you were Fast Signs guy for 20 years or something, right? Wasn't it Fast Signs, or was there another chain like that? I think it was Fast Signs. So Mike says, yeah, work on your business, not in it. Up until the pandemic, I was critical to our day-to-day. Now we're back to square one. Okay. So what changed? Was it because of the pandemic? You were allowed, you spent more time building out your processes? Is that what happened, Mike? Please share. So what, I think that it's really good to have some favorite books. I'm rereading The Goal right now. It's easily the 5th or 6th time I've read that book, right? And I try to read it all the time, but what's really interesting is just trying to discover new things in it. And I think I always do, right? So I just started rereading that like a couple days ago. So, and Mike says, not critical, and no, they lost staff. Okay, good.
I think that's okay that you get into the day-to-day when you have to, Mike. That's part of stepping up and just getting the job done. But right. I think when we say don't work on your business, work on your business, not in it, is that people are so focused on in it that they are not growing it.
Right.
You have that problem.
Well, cool.
If you have a manager or a lead that if somebody's having trouble with something and they kind of just push them aside and do it themselves and then walk away, but not show that individual what to do.
Yep.
I see that pretty often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Hey, let's switch topics here. Next one is tracking failure. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this was this is really about everyone trying new things and then and being okay with it not working out. I mean, a good example of this is this show. You know, we didn't know how to do this, and you could argue that we still don't, I guess. And but you know, lately we've been trying to do this show live remotely from a trade show, and it's been a miserable experience for us, but we're learning every time how to do that because, you know, nobody's really teaching us how to do that or encountering, you know, what happens when you can't get good Wi-Fi or the headphones echo or whatever. And we're trying to figure it out. And it's okay. It's highly embarrassing at times, but it's okay because we're improving what we're doing, right? And we're very open about it.
It was painful.
It is painful.
Failure
is often painful, isn't it?
Painful.
So, you know, like at one point, Mark did not know how to barbecue or print a shirt or drive a car or any of the things. And just, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, the only way you're going to learn is to expose yourself to doing new things and just doing it. Right. You know, and I mean, hell, I mean, Tom and I just did our first trade show booth. Like, we didn't know what to expect and what to do and whatever. And it was an eye-opening
learning experience.
Yeah. How did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Well, we enjoyed meeting the people. The other parts of doing the trade show, not so much.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of work, no matter how big you do it. People don't realize that.
Very, very long days, but it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I think we gained some valuable perspective, and we accomplished our mission, which is to create value first, and to do some fun things and meet new people and be open to opportunities, but also providing value to our current customer base. And there's a lot of things that were in there that we did that. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, we spent lots of money doing it. Right. And so that was really good. Right. It was a good experience. So, okay. Hey, Hurley's here. He says, good morning.
From Canada.
Charles says it was totally fine. I guess he's talking about our trade show podcast thing. Valerie says the trade show wasn't that bad. It was funny, and joked watching.
Yeah, we talked about a couple of weeks ago. What we're talking about, Valerie, before we knew you, was Marshall and I did one with GSG in Fort Worth, and it was beautiful.
Oh my God. It was a learning experience. Just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I actually was praying during the show if we ever serve a just and fair God right then, so people would forget about how bad the show was.
You were praying for a tornado to hit the building or something.
I know when we clicked off, Mark Saldana looked at me and just said, I went from smiling, hey, this is Alan at Q&A, to like ash and gray.
And it was like, where is the nearest bar?
So, literally, when I packed up and took everything back to my hotel room, sat there in the dark, may have shed a tear or two.
It wasn't that bad. It was.
Oh my God.
No, but when I came back to the show, then Mr. Mark Granberry's there at the booth. Okay, now I'm looking for sharp vein. Yeah, but he was awesome. He was kind. He was great. Yeah. So, and we did learn a lot.
Yeah.
This year will be a lot smoother.
Well, I went out and bought several $100s worth of equipment.
So we have a mobile studio, so
great.
We'll be good.
Good.
Well, if not, then it might be Alan and Marshall being taken out to the Granbury Ranch, and it might be an episode of Yellowstone.
Yeah, right.
Take him to the train station.
Take him to the train station. Hey, Hurley says you cannot succeed without failure. Exactly. 100%. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the thing. I think the reason why we all love sports, right, is because there is always a winner and a loser. And, I think the drama of sports is what it really attracts people to that. And you can't have a winning team forever. Eventually you lose. And I think the losing, like, think about the Bengals fans right now. Like, they're on cloud 9, right? And eventually, Dallas Cowboys will be there too, maybe one day when Jerry's not running things. But, whatever. So
it's cold.
Running up the middle. No, just kill me. All right. So Frank says, Mark, do you think ASI Fort Worth was a success failure? It was good seeing you.
It was the first ASI show I'd ever gone to. And I solely went because it was here in Dallas, but just to see what it was about, and, people like Sandmar were there, Stalls were there. A lot of our customers were there with booths. That's how they get a lot of their work.
Yeah.
It was an interesting show. I don't have any other ASI show to compare it to, but I made some really good contacts and saw a lot of things that I wasn't exposed to before. So
good.
It was good.
Good. Daryl says success code for life. I keep my word. I make a promise, and I keep it. I never quit.
Absolutely, Daryl.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It was good seeing Daryl at Long Beach. So Brian says, yes, fast signs, the processes were good. Right. Good. All right. So our last topic here is all about classes. And I think it's important that we take classes, right? And personally, I'm starting a class next week. There is a marketing guy that I've been following for a while. His name is Mark Schaefer. He wrote this awesome book called The Marketing Revolution. And I did a webinar with him last year. And this year he's got a private class. And I'm taking that for the next month. It's twice a week for next month for like an hour and a half, twice a week. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be totally great. And it costs, frankly, a lot of money, right? And so, but the reason I did that is because I want new ideas in my head, right? And that's the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to take classes about stuff that I know some stuff, but I don't know everything. So you have to open yourself up to that opportunity, right? So like Alan and Mark, how do you guys learn? What classes and what things are you opening yourself up to so you're learning?
Well, one thing I would suggest for people, if you're going to take the time and travel and go to a trade show, the trade shows offer some great classes. And they're not just from like say salespeople or representatives. For example, like Greg Kinston, always did classes. He's a shop owner, knows production, so he has a real world doing it every day experience. It just doesn't matter who, because you're going to learn something. Like me personally, when I was younger, starting in this industry, there was nothing online. The guys I learned from were the classic mentors back in the day, a lot of which aren't even around any longer. But like me at Graphic Solutions Group at GSG, like I'm doing classes on screen printing basics, screen printing with automatic, special effects classes all throughout this coming year 2022. There's other distributors that do them. I'm not saying it's specific to us. I'd love to have people there, but any chance you can learn and grow in your experience, it's completely worth it. You're not going to walk away and not learn something.
So, agreed. Mark, I'm sharing y'all's page here with the classes, and so why don't you just talk to everybody about what's going on with that real quick?
We're offering 9 different courses, excuse me, in apparel decorating, which would be our screen print basics, the auto class. We're doing direct to garment with Brother, embroidery basics. We're also doing embroidery machine maintenance, then direct to garment with Epson, a special effects screen printing class, which will come later in the year. And then we're doing screen print art prep. And this is an awesome one. It's going to be taught by Lon Winters. And he's basically going to, A through Z on creating, your halftones, line artwork, color separations. And then we're also offering, the basics of digitizing for embroidery. And then in sign and digital, wrap installation design. We're doing it with Arlon. We're doing it with Avery. And we're also doing a class on your Roland printer maintenance also. So these are going to be held at our 9 different branches around the country. So I think in total, we have over 70 classes for 2022.
So all of these classes are offered at all of the locations. Is that correct?
Not every location. Of the 9 locations, they're at least at 5 to 7 of the locations. Mm-hmm. So, like for example, Oklahoma, we're in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but we're only doing the classes in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Marshall, do we have the link we can put up?
I'm showing it right now. So it's
can we put the email link up?
I did not do that. What is the link real quick, Mark? Just say it out loud.
It's just gsgu.training, and it brings everything up.
Let me create that real quick.
I love in-person training. Yes, there's a lot online and video. I've done them, you've done them, Marshall's done them, and that's great. But there's something about hands-on training That is the best.
And if you come to my class in Cincinnati, you get to meet Alan in person because he's going to be there.
Yes. And you know what? I've been in Mark's class, and I've been to a lot of classes. The nice thing about speaking at trade shows as a speaker, we can attend any class we want and slip in.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times we do, and I do that a lot.
So that's in July.
July 14th.
There you go.
I know the auto class is going to be up in Milwaukee. You're doing, embroidery maintenance, which would be great. Liz Beavers is doing this stuff. So much. So I love classes like this. I think it's needed. I think it's imperative that people invest in their business. And I almost want people to say, I don't care where it is. If it's something that interests you, that you think your business needs, make the investment, go to the site, no matter what branch it is or where it is. I'm like that with trade shows. Do it. You go to a trade show and don't take advantage of the content there, you kind of missed a bunch of it.
Yeah, I teach at the trade shows, and I usually have a really great, diverse class. It's always a lot of fun. I ask a million questions. So you're learning not just from me, you're learning from the students that are in the class, because somebody in the class just did something, and it's always interesting about whatever they're doing. Right.
Absolutely.
And I know tons of people who have sat next to people at a class, and then they go off and have lunch or, a snack or something together. And then because of that, now they're like friends, and these people live in different states, and that's how they met, was they were in a class.
And that's the difference in community and not a Facebook group.
Yeah. You build a network or a community with each other.
Yeah.
And, I teach them all over the country, and I have people that I'll look at them like, you were just in the class like 2 months ago, and you were in it last year. And I'm like, well, every time I come, I learn something different, whether that's just for me or a vendor that's there with me or other people in the class. Cause it's kind of cool seeing the camaraderie of, a guy in Oklahoma and a guy in Houston that are screen printers. And they start talking about, this type of job that was a pain, or this type of job, or, hey, you can do this. I can sub this out to you. So,
right. Yeah, it's very interesting. And, I met Tom Rowan. He was a student in one of my classes, I think it was my sustainability class, if I remember right, years and years ago. That's how I met. And then after the class, he came up and introduced himself and gave me his card. And then, I don't know, 5 or 6 months later or whatever it was, I saw him again at the SGIA expo, and we went out and had a beer and stuff. Right. So that's what happens. Right. And here we are, business partners now with Shirt Lab. So you never know who you're going to meet. Right.
No, you don't.
I met Marshall. Marshall, I met you at your sustainability class. I was speaking, and we were both speaking, and I went in there.
Yeah, and I made fun of you
because you didn't have a podcast.
Yeah, but you knew I was.
I go, is that Alan Howe in the back of the room?
Yeah, because we were talking on Twitter, but we had never met.
Yeah. So all right, so we got some comments. Let's get to those. So Richard says, sports is a finite game. Business is an infinite game.
Oh, good call.
Simon Sinek. That's great. I love that. Valerie asks, I want a class on halftones and Corel Draw.
Well,
or a halftone from start to finish.
Take a look at the art classes from GSG.
Take a look at Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, but can't she sign up and get Mark Coudre's Halftone Mastery? Isn't that available online? I think it is.
I believe it is.
That's what you should go to do, Valerie.
Yeah.
Is that.
Yep.
It's a dated thing. I mean, that's got to be 15 years old now, I think. But it's just super relevant information. So, Mark, any classes near Port Huron?
It'll be no. Mark, Port Huron, Michigan is in the Thumb area of Michigan.
That's up above Detroit, isn't it?
Way far up above Detroit, about an hour.
Valerie, you're gonna have. I see a plane ride in your future.
Cincinnati is GSG's closest branch, so I would go on the link that we had, Valerie, and
or Milwaukee.
It's still going to be a plane ride or a drive, but I would check. Make the investment, Val. You guys will love it.
Right. Josh says cheating yourself if you don't take Mark's classes.
It's one of Mark's.
Mr. Kitson says go to any class early and talk to the presenter and other attendees. Great opportunity. I second that, man. I'm always talking with people early. And then after every class, I'm usually there 30 minutes after the class. Yep. I hand out business cards. I talk about stuff. A lot of stuff in my class, I don't like share my personal views on vendors and stuff because I think I try to be really neutral.
Right.
But some people do come up and ask me stuff, and I'll talk. Right.
Same thing, especially at Impressions SGI shows. One we're not supposed to as speakers, and we don't. We do what's called an evergreen class.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll tell people, just see me afterwards, and I'll give you my opinion because I do have an opinion on everything.
So Greg says, looking for nickels every time I attend an event.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mike says Sprint, game changer for all of us.
Yep.
So he does in Shirt Lab. We have our tribe mastermind group. So there's a group of a handful of people in tribe who have broken off, and they have an accountability sprint group, and they talk for like an hour or whatever it is twice a week. And it's a game changer for them. So really, really happy to see that. Mike says Shirt Lab Portland was amazing and sets the stage for our growth. It's outside the classroom, in the halls, dinner tables, and bar stools.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's the part of going live to something, whether it be a GSGU, you're not just the education you're getting and training you're getting, but it's afterwards.
And Alan made up a good point, or brought up a good point earlier, like with Shirt Lab Tribe. It's not just a Facebook page or a Facebook group. It's a community of people that are really dedicated to what they're doing. And everybody shares everything. Everybody wants everyone else to succeed.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 50 different wrong answers.
Yeah. It's professional mentorship, but it's a community. That's what makes it really powerful.
Yeah.
So if you're watching and you're not a member of Tribe, we would love to have you. And right now, I'll tell you a secret. If you go there and put in all caps, ISS Long Beach as a coupon code, we'll give you a free month off, which is $97, because I know Tom hasn't taken it down yet. so shh, don't tell anybody.
It would be well worth it. Go do it. Yeah.
So where am I on the comments? Right. So Hurley says a class. I'm recording classes.
No.
Hey, hold on. So Hurley, I can't tell you how many times Shirt Lab Live, Allie and Marge sit up front with their iPads with the camera, and they're recording it themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every single one. They just record it themselves. More power to them, right?
Yeah.
So Valerie's on a plane for sure. Mike says take Greg's classes and Marshall's. Thank you. You learn something every time. I've been in this industry since '82, and I still try to take classes. I might be able to teach the class, but I learn from other teachers. Exactly. That's awesome. Mike says, and sometimes they'll ask a question and sparks a new idea. Always. And then Brian says Shirt Lab can be life-changing. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that, pal.
And all these people are tribe members. So it's not their business. It's the network. And it's nobody knows everything. We're all ever learning. It is a constant state of learning. And we've all been doing this a long time. And man, how things have changed, and we got to keep up.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, I got it in this industry in 1993. That's when I started at T Formation in Florida. I had a business prior to that. I had my own t-shirt company, so maybe I was actually doing it earlier. but the first time actually working in a shop was in 93. I started as an art director, and I've continually learned since then. And I tell you, anybody who tells you they know and know everything is just full of crap. There's like, it's impossible. It changes so much all the time. You just don't even know, right? You have to constantly talk to people, ask people, try things, just like it's insane, right? But the beauty of this industry, I think, is that a lot of people share, a lot of people are free with the information, a lot of people, are really interested in helping. It's a big tent, and that's what makes it great.
There was a time, like, I started screen printing in 1976. So 2 years before Charlie Talib. So you figure that out.
Wow.
But there was a time that people wouldn't share stuff. They just, it was like, oh, that could be more competition.
When simulated process came out, you couldn't get that info, right?
Oh no.
And I was like, I was an art director then. I was like, how do you do it? And we paid somebody to come in and teach me how to separate in Photoshop using channels and curves. And then I was like hooked, right? That was a big deal. That was like 95, 6, whatever. Whenever the new Buffalo craze was going on. When was that, Mark? Do you remember?
It was early 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah, when they were doing the championship rings and nobody could figure out how they're doing it. And
well, back, I think when I go into shops or shows and I see the technology or what I have, my shop here, I remember, spending 6 hours with a photostat camera, and, doing all my films that way, and, hi-fi green and poly blue and Alan, I'm going to jog your memory.
I'm afraid that just did with hi-fi green.
Do you remember the product that we used to use to make an underbase, that we would expose it with the carbon arc lamp on the tilt up table, and then you'd wash it out and would make everything reverse, and that's how we made an underbase?
Autotape made it. It was called Photo Strip.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do remember it was a great product.
I remember when I hired my first artist and he wanted a Mac, I'm like, what the hell you need a computer for?
Yeah. Man. So much. Yeah. So much. Well, I can't believe I remember that I dated myself.
Or we had a time that our screens were overexposed. We were using a carbon arc lamp. Mm-hmm. And the guy that exposed my screens, he switched his cigarettes to 100s, so they were longer. So the screens were, because he would smoke a cigarette and then it was fine to wash it out.
That was a good timing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the owner came out, broke about a ½ inch off his cigarette, and I'll be darned, our screens were fine after that.
Well, that was back in the day too with diazo emulsions, where detail you had to underexpose.
Yeah.
So it was awful.
That's great. It
was terrible.
So
it's terrible.
We need to wrap up here. So let's do some last minute comments.
Right.
So Mike says, if you're lucky, you're going to get a Shirt Lab tattoo. That's pretty funny. Hurley says, good to know. Lancer Group International reached out to me last week to write a book on their line of specialty inks, show and tell their customers how to use it properly to get your desired effect.
That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
For people that don't know.
Hey, when you publish that, let us know and we'll push it out for you.
For a lot of people don't know, Lancer's an ink manufacturer up in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mike says, hi, having a dark room with running water and a computer digital process camera. That was a boat anchor for a few months later when we purchased a laser printer to make positives.
Yeah.
Right. And William says, I cut a ton of ruby lith.
Wow.
Mike still has his swivel knife.
You have a double swivel knife, though. Remember those? The double-handed swivel knives?
Or do you remember the Ponce wheel?
The Ponce wheel for bouncing paper. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well.
I used to be a sign painter. That's how I made my templates for the signs, with the blue carpenter's chalk through the hole.
The dead mouse. Sit there.
If I never have to use a proportion scale again.
I still have one around here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
You do.
All right. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate you. I hope you are able to get some value out of the show today.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this as a recording, thank you as well. Please like or make a comment or something. We want to know that you're watching it, so please do that. And then let's show that banner real quick for the classes.
Yeah.
So if you want to sign up for any of the GSG classes, this is where you go. It's a phenomenal thing. There's a traveling circus, looks like all over the country doing stuff. And I'm sure you can find a lot of great information. And Mark, is there anything that that you want to add to that?
Well, each of the class, well, like the screen print basics class, what you leave with just for coming to the class, like all the inks and everything else, it's really worth it. It's fun. If you can deal with me for 7 hours of screen printing, and it's all hands on, you know, there's maybe 45 minutes that's in the classroom, and then it's all hands on. You
Right.
know, I don't want to say you're going to get your hands dirty. Hopefully you don't get your hands dirty. But Lon Winters did some really super cool graphics for me this year. And if everybody knows Lon, you know what he does some really cool designs. So
yeah. And I would also throw it out there that maybe you personally know, but you know what? You have staff that doesn't. Get your press operator. Yeah. They know it. Get the puller, get the catcher, get the artist out of the art room, get them some training so everybody has a more well-rounded kind of background. This is who should be taking these classes, not just,
exactly right.
You know, we know everything because I've been doing it for 10 years, but not everybody has that background in your shop. So I think it's important.
I always recommend that not just the shop owners go to send, but not just send their people, but they should go too, whether it be the production manager and the printer, because what happens when they come back is the printer's all excited and stuff and just says, hey, here's what we learned. Can we change this? Can we do this? And then it's the shop owner or the production manager or VP or whoever is still in that mode of doing business and going, okay, I'll look into it. And it doesn't happen.
Right.
So yeah, have both go.
Right.
But go, be trained.
Right.
Look.
All right, everyone. We got to go. So, hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much. This was fun.
Thanks, Mark.
Good morning.
Stay on, Mark.
You got it.